Hello, this is Chala Dincoy, CEO and founder of The Repositioning Expert. Welcome to my podcast, The Naked Marketing. Neither of us are really naked, but we're getting honest about our marketing mistakes. I have here my guest, the lovely Romina Muhametaj. Did I say that right?
Absolutely, yes, you did.
Yay. With a name like Chala Dincoy, I have to send like a video on how to pronounce my name. So you're good. You're all good. So, Romina, tell everyone what you do and who you help.
Absolutely. So, hi everybody. I'm Romina with a weird long last name, so I'll just stick to the Romina part. I run a business from home, 6-7 Radius, and my business is actually focused into two strategies. One is into helping our clients with their marketing and sales, and we do teach sales to different clients and be able to help them elevate their conversion rate, go from leads to decision makers, pitches, sales, all that fun stuff. Because a lot of time companies work really hard in their marketing strategies, but sometimes they fail to convert those leads throughout the funnel at the end of the equation. So that's what we focus on, as well as when it comes to podcasting. We're on a podcast. I love podcasting. I also have a lot of clients that have their own podcasts. So we are able to build through their podcast, their marketing, and of course, increase their conversion for sales at the end of the equation.
That's great. So, how did you even get into all this?
That's a great question. So, I will start with podcasting. I got into podcasting because I hated my job, and I wanted a little runaway. I was very overwhelmed because sometimes when you work corporate America, unfortunately, you have to wait for forever to jump the ladder. And after applying for multiple times for a manager position, I very simply got told, you have been with the company only 2 years. Managers, it takes 7 years to be a manager, so just stick
Whew.
around. So I was like, I have all the knowledge. I'm doing your training material for the new classes. I am training the new agents. I am working with the project managers with a marketing team down in Boca Raton at the time. Like we're launching campaigns from my ideas. So I'm very well, good at what I do. So I decided to start interviewing people because I felt stuck. I was like, I don't know what am I going to do, where I'm going to take my career next, because I have 1,001 ideas, but I don't know what to do. So I launched the podcast, and throughout the podcast journey itself, it allowed me to grow a brand behind my name, to actually expose like my knowledge, to expose what I can do, what I can help others. And my business strictly built from the podcasting itself. And fast forward, I did work as a marketing project manager as well, where my main job was to create the live events, to make sure that the monthly magazine content was in order, as well as the podcast, the weekly newsletter, all that fun stuff. But then lovely COVID happened. So I lost the job. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to take all this knowledge and just launch my business, and I'm just going to do it. And that's how my business got started.
That's amazing. So, what were you doing before? Like, were you in that corporate America job you talked about where you were in a marketing department?
I worked sales for over 10 years. So I'm Albanian originally. I moved to America at 17 years old by myself. But my father always ran a business back home. So I always kind of grew up in the sales and marketing environment. Like my summers would be spent with my father going B2B construction site to construction site and negotiating prices up to the brick, pre-order, post-order, pre-transportation, post-transportation. So I grew up in that environment. And when I moved to America, I've worked a lot of sales, and of course, sales and marketing, they're very tied together. So I always been the person that not only will sell, but also will work closely with the marketing department towards being able to, those trials, those launches, be able to see what we need to change, what we need to do, and everything of that nature. So I've always been in that middle position.
Wow. And what made you move when you were 17 alone? That seems scary.
Well, we have been to America before. My family is lucky enough to win the DV program from USCIS, the diversity visa program, which is called the American Lottery. So when I say my mom won the American Lottery for the family, people think we won money. No, you guys, we actually won the green card. So having that, and I visited America in 2005 and 2006, and I liked it. It was an environment that made me feel welcome, and I wanted to be a part of it. But I was underage because you have to be 18 in America to live by yourself. So we did the foreign exchange program for my senior year, and I just stayed here ever since. So I moved here in 2009, and I've lived in America ever since.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty brave. I got to tell you.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find out if my parents had enough of me or they like my brother more. We're still trying to figure that part out, but it worked out so far.
I hope they visit. I hope they visit a lot. Probably not during COVID, but my goodness.
Well, they
Great.
moved to America too, like
Oh,
2 years
did.
after
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Oh, so they followed you. You see, like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't separate a family. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you must have seen a lot of marketing mistakes. I mean, I want to get your marketing and sales mistakes now. This is like, because if it's okay with you, I'm going to put this
Absolutely.
into our mistake summit. I have a mistake summit coming up, so you're going to be telling us all about both marketing and sales, and I'm really curious. So, tell us about the most frequent marketing mistakes that you see companies that you work with making.
So, one and foremost, marketing department works really, really hard to launch a campaign. The the mistake that they do a lot is they miss this communication between the sales department and the marketing department. So, for example, different jobs that I had, we would have the marketing campaign, the marketing department launched an amazing campaign, give this amazing promotions, but the sales agents, they would get phone calls say, hey, I got this email for this, I want to get the deal. And agents would be like, well, what are you talking about? Like,
Oh,
hold
no.
on 1 second. So, and this isn't a Fortune 500 company,
Yeah.
which mistakes like this should not be happening. But unfortunately, they do happen a lot. And that's where you're missing those resources to the sales agent in order for them to do their job very successful. Or there would be miscommunication, such as, for example, like taking a promotion out and you're just building this impulse, you're doing everything with a customer, trying to make the sale. And at the end of the equation, you're like, what happened to the promotion? Oh, it was taken out yesterday. Why are we not aware? Why are we missing this communication? Because you're killing leads by that. Because marketing, of course, puts in a lot of money into their campaigns. They actually work really hard. So the biggest mistake that I've seen is a miscommunication between these two departments, which end up costing millions of dollars a lot of times. Not only that, but it just frustrates the employees internally. And once you have an internal conflict, then of course there's going to be exposed externally, unfortunately. If you like it or not, that's just going to happen. So that I would say it's unfortunately a biggest mistake that I've seen out there in the corporate world.
Now, your own business, where you set up since COVID, what kind of like size of clients are you working with?
Yeah, so most of my clients are actually consultants. So I would be able to take them from A to Z. That would be on my podcast as a guest. We would build an amazing communication. And a lot of times they would look and say, okay, well, what else do you do? Like, you sound interesting on communication. So a lot of my clients, it depends on exactly what they need. I just finished work with one client. Actually, I was able to do a full tutorial of their website change because all on their website, she had only information. I'm like, you don't have a call to action. Like, you're just putting information out there, but you're not converting this to money. And this is what you're telling me you're struggling with because you're not able to monetize it, especially after COVID. You have not pivoted towards, before you did public speaking in person, you have not pivoted towards doing website because you don't have a call to action. All you're doing is just giving information. So sometimes a lot of people feel like hesitant to also selling their website because they don't want to come out salesy. And I got told, like, you come out very salesy before, but I'm like, no, you have to align with how much information you give and what are you trying to convert it at the end of the funnel, because I understand you're not trying to, like, it's a jab hook method, right? Like, information, of course you're going to convert it. But a lot of times people either give too much information and don't convert those to sales, or they just give too information and expect everything else to be converted with their own clients only when they sell the product. But how are you going to build that authority if you don't know enough? Like, what can you do? How you can help me? So I help clients to have a perfect alignment in that matter, as well as help them towards online courses. Like, online courses is another way how to really monetize really big, and podcasting itself. And a lot of people sometimes think podcasting, you can only make money only if you sell ads, which that's not the case scenario at all. Some other great ways how you can make money with podcasting is literally selling your own services, inserting an ad for your own business, or being able to do podcast swaps for different ads without money being the exchange, but being the information and that call to action to be transferred to the conversion. I hope that answers the question. I know
Oh yeah, I
I
love
said a
it.
lot.
And I agree with all of it. So tell us about the sales mistakes that you see a lot happening.
The sales mistakes that I would honestly see a lot, because how I coach sales myself is I break down the whole sales funnel. You have leads, decision makers, pitches, sales. And then even if you're like, let's say from 1 to 10, you're a 9 in sales, right? You have the great experience. A lot of times you're missing that referral. You're not building a referral system because you just build an impulse on your current client. They will end up being your biggest advocate, because guess what? They're probably going to have an Uber driver, a pizza delivery guy, a friend, or a Facebook friend that will post something that might need exactly the services or the products that you're selling. And I'm talking about just a layer of it, not only talking about their own clients or their own referrals. So once you have built this an amazing impulse, you're not leveraging it towards building a referral system. Because let's say if your client that came as a cold lead, you spend 1 hour time towards converting it to a sale. If you work just an additional 20 minutes and let them know that you are the friend on the inside, if you work in corporate or if you're running your own business, you are the one-stop shop, so they don't have to waste their time Google everything, but they can just give you a call. Then they already feel like they have a friend in the inside. And guess what? Whoever they're going to refer it is most likely going to be 100% conversion rate. And instead of the normal 1 hour period that might take you, because depending on the industry, that will end up even being like half of the time, because the impulse is already built. You already are referred from an insider to them. So that referral system itself, a lot of salespeople tend to miss it. They don't do follow-ups. They don't do just, hey, how are you? They don't do birthdays. They don't do specific handwritten notes. And you're literally wasting money by not doing an additional step to increase that conversion.
Hmm. So this is the part where you get naked is tell me what, is your biggest marketing challenge?
My biggest marketing challenge right now would be to reaching to people that actually need the help even more. Because again, I launched my business during COVID, so will technically be 1 year in June that the business is launched, and it's been really amazing. But the more and more I want to help more people, but I right now, because the a lot of projects are going on all at once, I want to reach even to more people. So I need to build a strategy on it itself. So that's my biggest obstacle. But I do have a lot of projects going on at the same time. Therefore, we just need a re-strategizing of the project. And we are looking to hire, actually. We just hired another employee too. So we're looking to convert more employees full time, because that's how the business is going.
That's amazing. So you already have a team?
Yes.
That's
We
wonderful.
we do have a team, because we do deal with a podcast production. Our company produces 5 podcasts, so I do have an editing team. I do have a social media team and everything that they do the work on the back end.
And like what is your cold outreach strategy, or is that the one you have to build?
Well, my always go to is through LinkedIn and through podcasting. So converting cold leads into warm leads, to me, it's, hey, let's have an introduction. Let's see, have you on the podcast. And once our energy align, once our thoughts align, and once I can feel like for you, Chala, like we can work really great together, that's when I'll be like, hey, I also work on this. If you need help with this, I would love to help you out. So I would put myself in that position and let them know, like, I can help you with this. But I also handpick my clients. I'm very picky on it, because I find it very important to have each other align and make sure that the end goal is the same. Because a lot of times people, when they first start in the business world, they feel like having like 5 clients and getting paid, for example, like 1,000, it'd be like, okay, I'm good, right? But you don't understand how much stress you can have from one client alone, that if you let that go, you'd be able to get another one that will pay you double, because they will appreciate your work even more, and you already are taking all this knowledge. So it's just that balancing has to be found out too.
So you know, the new clients that you're looking to get, what is their sort of, what's the avatar? What does it look like? Who are they?
Yep, I would love for them to be consultants, to work with companies on their own. I would love for them to be authors as well, because I definitely would like to. We have a whole strategy that we follow for the authors, for the Amazon algorithm, to increase their sales, to grow their exposure. So, consultants, authors, focus on strategic planning, focus on innovation, and focus on HR related towards the companies that they work. That's our niche right there.
So what advice do you have to give for especially companies that have been affected by COVID like you have?
Well, here's the thing with COVID, because you might be affected, which unfortunately is something that we cannot avoid. It's there. As much as we would love to be like, no, we don't want this, take it back. We cannot do that. One thing that I've seen a lot of companies also make a mistake is they don't use that downtime, I would say, or because a lot of times like they let people go, but they don't use that downtime or this new opportunity, because it is a, it's not really an opportunity, but we have to look at things from the opportunities perspective. Internal training. You're missing internal training. You're missing, maybe Romina is really good at sales, for example, but how about we put her actually into the marketing department for a while and get somebody from marketing to sales, so we can do this cross training at the same time in order for us to parallelly work together. Because let's say if COVID 2.0 hits, which I hope to goodness it doesn't happen, but you need to have this cross training within companies, because if you have to let go of employees, if you are stuck in that situation, like you're either bankrupt or have to let go, pretty much, you already have a trained staff from within that will be able to still innovate the company and take the company to the next level, because you already have that communication very open. And I'm just taking marketing and sales, for example, because that's what I focus on. But there are so many other departments that you need to have that cross communication and cross training.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, it's really good advice. A lot of people have changed. One of the things that I teach a lot about is niching, and we never talked about niching, but what are your thoughts about how people are niching and whether they're niching?
So personally, I think you have to have two niches. At least that's how I work on. So for example, my business, like I explained, it kind of branches out into sales, and marketing, and it also branches out into podcasting. So the breakthrough of how you're going to get to the client, you need to niche on that, and then you need to niche a second time around. Once you filtrate that, you get the correct, attraction. You have to niche out the second time to be able to fully convert that information that you want into a sale. Because even if you try to niche out so much, for example, like I'm not interested into fitness, for example, right? Or I'm not interested into diets. Let's just say, I just take that for example. But if I listen to information, I can transfer this information to somebody else. So I don't think you should niche out very like a lot on the first step to get your information out there. I hope my answer makes sense. I'm trying to explain it in English, but I have it in Albanian in my head, you guys.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm sure we have some Albanian listeners who will make sense of it. But thank you so much, Romina. How could people find you?
Absolutely. So if you just go to connectwithromina.com or any social, connect with Romina, you'd be able to absolutely find me there.
Well, that's easy enough.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.